If what we heard about Domas is true, then he might be here a while. So Domas and Maxime, can they play together? I know that last summer when we had Scott Perry on, Drapes and I asked Scott Perry about that. He said, well, we'll see. They could. We may get a chance to see them together because according to Sam Amick, he spoke with Sabonis' camp, and they're not anticipating a trade at the deadline. And I forget exactly how he phrased it, but they are being asked to be patient, apparently. So Domas may be here a while.
Yeah, I don't foresee him. I know that we talked a little bit about the trade with Golden State, maybe something like that happen, where I believe Jonathan Kuminga, which, by the way, was pretty much benched the other night.
DNP.
Yeah, so did not play at all. So I think that's something that's going to happen sooner than later. I just don't know how involved the Sacramento Kings are anymore because I think there was also a report that they were not willing to give up a first rounder anymore.
Mark Spears.
Yeah, Mark Spears, that was a great report.
And I always pay extra close attention to anything he says, Kayla, because honestly, I was doing a show with Brendan a couple summers ago, and we were talking on the air about Mark J. Spears. We love Mark J. Spears, but he says DeMar DeRozan might come to the Kings, and we haven't heard anything about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then look what happened.
Yeah.
So he's tapped into the right places for sure.
Yes. I'm not saying he's Carmichael Dave as far as sources, but he's got sources.
So that was really when we talked about Domas and being able to stay in the area because him and his wife really love this Northern California area in the winery and everything, Napa. But I don't foresee that happening at this point with the switcheroo. And I just don't know of any other teams right now that have interest in that contract either.
I get the sense that the Warriors might not have as much interest as we'd think they'd have in Domantas Sabonis.
Yep.
For one thing, when he was at his very best here, it's because Mike Brown plugged him into kind of a Draymond Green type role in the offense. Mike Brown had been with the Warriors, so he knew that worked. And hey, Domas, why don't you do what Draymond does? Well, okay, but if he went to the Warriors, guess what? They still have Draymond. Yeah, so they already got somebody who does that.
And I don't know how much longer he has in terms of playing, but I don't think it's going to happen now.
And Draymond, the main thing he gives them still is like a defensive backbone. And
that's not his
Domas wouldn't really bring that. So you'd be paying him a lot of money that's the problem with his contract, I think.
I know. Is it 42? What's Levine's?
Levine's going to be 49.
49. I think, is Domas like 42?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I have to look it up, and I'm sure.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still chunky.
Yeah, I know I mentioned this earlier, but he earned that money doing things that the Kings don't necessarily want him to do anymore, and things that another team may say, that's not what we would have him here for, so we'd be paying him for stuff that he did when he was on your team 3 years ago.
And that's where I'm going to circle back around to that dreaded 3 to 5 year rebuild. And that nothing saying that isn't. I mean, you can't predict any of that, right? It could be 2 years. I mean, you just don't know. But I think Perry, possibly, if this was Perry giving the info, Perry kind of throwing out. It's better to have a bigger number in terms of the rebuilding because, again, you just can't tell someone grab this guy, come and get this guy, And so maybe he's anticipating going to have to wait out some of these contracts or just give them there's going to be time where they're going to have to sit on some of this.
Do you think it's like this? I'm asking. I don't know. Telling the owner the rebuild may take 5 years. Is that like when you go up to a busy restaurant with no reservations? They say, okay, it's going to be 45 minutes. And you're like, okay, it's going to be 30 minutes. Is that
Boom. And I'm glad you used that example because earlier I was trying to think of a good example of giving time and kind of maybe making it a little bit more. Oh, like a surgery. My mom just had surgery, right?
Yeah.
I know that's intense, but so is this rebuilding process. So she was given
surgery. We're going to take out 7 ribs and
on
take
her
out
back,
3
right?
Okay,
on her sciatic nerve.
Yeah.
And it's it could be an hour, it could be 3 hours. It ended up being like an hour and a half to 2.
Yeah.
So they cautioned, on the caution side of giving a time, it was 3 hours, but she was only in there for about
when you're waiting because you're so anxious. That's
exactly.
Gotcha. Whereas for her, because I know I've had surgeries, like, I don't care.
Yeah, you're
I had
under.
no idea.
Hey, you're under. Unless you were like me and they had to flip out they put the wrong screw in, the wrong size of the screw, and I almost woke up
Where did
from
you
the
go?
anesthesia.
Home Depot for your surgery?
I guess somewhere in Spokane, you know.
Huh.
Yeah.
At least
so
they figured it out.
they figured it out. I didn't wake all the way up, but I was about to.
Huh. Did you at least get to keep the one?
The right screws in, guys. It's
Okay.
been in there for about 20 years.
That's good. That's good. I had a real quick, I think I've told this before, major surgery once where they basically had to open me up. And so we get the, and everything went fine. So I get the bill and I'm looking at it and it's itemized and it's like,
Oh my goodness.
There's a thing that was El Marco. They charged me about $350 for an El Marco. And I was like, El Marco. And I realized they used it to draw where they were going to make the incision, threw it away, and guess who paid for it?
You're got to be kidding me.
No.
So it was
unless
all
you can
listed.
tell me what else they would have used an El Marco
That's incredible.
for. They don't even make those anymore.
That's incredible.
Huh. Maxime Raynaud is potentially the future for the Kings.
I'd say so.
Yes.
One of the potential feature pieces.
He's probably the best thing that's happened so far this year. You may say Russell Westbrook. Nah, it's Maxime Raynaud because Russ has played great, but
he's not the future.
Right.
We're trying to see something that could be here for a while.
We thought it would be Nick Clifford, and maybe it still will be. But so far, Maxime Raynaud is ahead of schedule, in part because of the Domas injury. But this has actually been a good thing that's happened in this, let's face it, miserable year.
I think, and that's the conversation we had maybe last week. Is what's been a bright spot, and definitely some of these young guys' names came up. With Raynaud, I don't think we really spoke about him as much to start the season. It was more Nick Clifford that we were focused on. What can he do as a youngster? So it's almost been flip-flopped a little. Not because Nick has not played well, but Nick has been in the logjam with everybody else in terms of playing minutes where they have needed Raynaud. And it's just worked out that he's made 2 starts now, and he is able to kind of build on things. And there's still plenty of things he needs to work on, but he's getting real life experience on the hardwood in the NBA. That is only going to benefit this kid moving forward. I think he could be a great piece.
Meanwhile, a player with a lot of